The trusted employer scheme. Okay. In today's video, I would like to give you a brief overview of the trusted employer scheme. It is something the Department of Home Affairs has very recently, and we're taping this here now early May, so they've actually published this in the end of April, that they're working on a trusted employer scheme. There was a presentation, I believe, on the 25th of April conducted by the Department of Home Affairs, introducing interested parties to their ideas and thoughts of such a trusted employer scheme. Now, the good news is that we're participating in the public comment period. It's ending end of May, and we're submitting our own thoughts. But they were quite far, and I want to just share the current thoughts. So again, for the viewers, we're taping this early May. There is no regulations or law governing the trusted employer scheme at the moment. These are thoughts, but they're very concrete thoughts, so we can see where the journey is going. So where is the journey going? So the Department of Home Affairs, I think, has 2 or 3 main criteria. So number one, the idea behind it, like in so many other countries in the world where they have that, is that basically certain corporates of a certain standing and size and turnover can pre-register with the Department of Home Affairs, and then people who are employees who are employed by such corporates can apply for work visas with much easier criteria. And the Department of Home Affairs is basically outsourcing the verification of certain immigration documents to these employers and grants them a certain trust, and that's why it's called trusted employer scheme, I guess, to comply with immigration laws. They can lose this trust, or if they abuse the trust, they can lose the status, so that's very clear. So how do you qualify for it? Okay, so there's, there's a scorecard, but one main criteria is really the size of your operations. At the moment, you need at least 500 employees, and 60% of them must be South African. Now, I don't think that's a problem for any of these corporates who qualify because of our employment equity laws, but 500 is quite a lot, right? So a lot of startups or European businesses who have a sizable size in South Africa, 500 is a lot. So 500 is number one, and then you also, depending on the sector you're in, you need to meet minimum turnover requirements, and they range between 50 and 200 million rand. Okay, so in my experience, normally the turnover is not the problem, the employees are the problem. They're quite high. 500 is very high, and then obviously there's a scorecard, an additional scorecard, and they're looking at 5 criteria. Number one is employment, as I said, the sector. The number 2, the skills transfer. Number 3, the enterprise size. That's what I said already. And then pledges. So pledges is another part of the scorecard. And 100 points is the maximum, and then they have percentages around that. So we will see how this will change in the future and after the public comment period. But I do think that this is something very useful. I do think that the Department of Home Affairs is 100% on the right track, and they need to be applauded on really looking into this and coming up with something which is obviously has a lot of international recognition and which has worked for other countries in the past. I do believe, in particular, looking at the drafts, that they have to potentially relook the minimum number of employees. I find them too high in certain sectors, but otherwise it's really useful. And if you need more information, my team will link our very comprehensive article on the Trusted Employer Scheme to this video. I was told I should not ramble on for too long. This video should be short, so please read the link. There's much more information in there. And one more time, it's not fixed yet. It's still in the thinking process. But I do think that by July, we will have definite and then certainly another update on this video. Bye-bye.